Good afternoon to all of you. I need to keep this on my left hand and this sort works. Yes, thank you. Uh, it's been a lovely lunch and I believe everyone is awake. I'll speak in Hindi because there are students at the back who are making a lot of noise. I'll make them interested as well. Good afternoon. Sab theek? Okay, so how many of you have been to Ladakh? Quite a few. And how many of you have been to Pangong Lake? Wonderful. How many of you have done stargazing? Achha, ye to zyada ho gaya. Okay, next. How many have you seen hot springs? Experienced hot springs? Ye bhi kafi yaad hai. Let me try something. How many have you seen a statue of Buddha near Pangong? See? So I had to find somewhere, right? So today's discussion is all about building future destinations. A small bit of 50 slides in 10 minutes. We'll talk to you about how do you build, how you go about doing infrastructure development, social development, and cultural alignment with the communities, especially in the rural areas, so that when you build destination, when traveler comes in, it is prepared, not only for today, but for the future as well. Right? So I'll take you through pictures pretty fast, and then we'll have a very enlightened discussion with the esteemed panelists. This particular village, any idea which state of India is this? Meghalaya, perfect, sir. This is called Dari Bokre. It's a last village in the Nokrik National Park. And this house you see here, there is a small solar panel on the left-hand side. This village was solar powered by us around 4 years back. So I'm Paras Lumba from GHE. The full form is Global Himalayan Expedition. So we shortened up to GHE, make it easy to pronounce as well. Ghee, dalda ka ghee. So we try and combine technology and tourism to bring sustainable development for rural areas. Our team is basically a team of electrical and mechanical engineers, and tourism just happened to us as we went along electrifying remote villages. We started a decade back. The idea was to get a group of people go to these remote villages in Ladakh, which didn't have any access to grid electricity, and then power up by setting up DC solar microgrids. Technical term, basically giving them solar electricity. So when you have light in the village, when you have basic infrastructure in the village, automatically, first of all, the villagers won't migrate. And if they won't migrate, you get a chance to visit their village because they are there, so that you can meet them, stay with them, and experience a different area. And that's the first step of building a destination. So first of all, you need to build that basic infrastructure. That's how we started 10 years back. We started leading expeditions. And this photograph is of Lingshed Monastery, which was electrified in 2016. And now you also have a road to this monastery. When we electrified this monastery, it took us almost 2.5 days of trek to reach this place. And that light bulb is something which runs on solar power. It's a 12-watt DC bulb. So that's a bit technical, but you can see the happiness on the faces. So the idea is to create self-sustainable, smart, and eco-villages. I won't say carbon neutral, net zero, because those are very terms even I am trying to understand. So eco is a perfect term, making it a very low carbon footprint villages. Our development interventions, when we look at the destination, or any of you who are probably working in villages, would properly look at these aspects. Bijli honi chahiye, water, communication, road, health, of course, education comes, and finally, to maintain all that, you need livelihood, which is normally tourism in this case, because you can't end up setting a manufacturing plant immediately in a rural scenario. We have been working mainly in the frontier villages of India. The people have gone to Ladakh. Can you tell me, except my team members, which village is this? Sorry? It looks like Likher, but anyone from Ladakh? There was a gentleman from Nubra. This is the village called Chushul. It's the final village when you go towards the Pangong Lake. And this is at 14,000 feet. And look at the lovely tarred road which has built now. And this is the village where 1962 war with China was fought, known as famous for the Major Shaitan Singh Mahavir Chakra. So overall, we have electrified almost and transformed almost, we can say, 1,450 villages. It's still counting. Even today, we are working in some of the villages as we speak. And the idea is what an impact is. You can see it by this particular picture on the left-hand side. a room without electricity, without a light bulb, and the transformation one light bulb can do. And of course, you involve a lot of women because when you enter these villages, they are the most excited ones and the most responsible ones. And this is Gurmeet Angmo. She was Ladakh's first woman engineer who electrified more than 45 villages around 5 years back. Now Ladakh has normally got electricity. Still, you have more than 60 villages without grid electricity, but she was a pioneer in even training more other women. So she actually came to Meghalaya and trained these women to electrify their villages. So when I'm talking about destination development, it starts with the community first, and then all the things of tourism comes in later. You don't have to only think about women. There are also youth which have done their graduation. They're looking for opportunities where they can contribute back. So you engage the youth and train them, and they're the ones who lead the charge in development efforts. And sometimes when you do these installations, when you electrify these villages, you need to make sure they're maintained. Because today I electrify a village, a lot of clapping, photographs, media, then things after 1 year is different. So you have to make sure that the village we electrified 10 years back still has light or not. We have. So because of the models we have created. So they smile, they enjoy, and they also do the servicing. Then we realized that after electrification, when COVID happened, the idea was travelers want to come to these remote areas, but they want a safety net. So we thought, let's also work on the health centers. So we started powering up the health centers. This is a health center near Tura. Tura is in the Garo region of Meghalaya, Western Garo. And we electrified more than 25 health centers. We not only solar powered them, we also gave them medical instruments so that they have adequate facilities for their staff to run as well. So basically holistic development, right? And of course, when you do something like this, it requires a lot of maintenance. So there's trained entrepreneurs to service these health centers as well. So with every infrastructure, you need a maintenance model as well. And that's why it makes it sustainable. In Northeast, specifically in Meghalaya, starting from Meghalaya, there are a lot of firewood used for cooking, which led us to the intervention of clean cook stoves. Simple technology, nothing more. It reduces the wood usage by almost 70%, but it reduces a lot of smoke in the kitchen, and also reduces the time for the women to grab the wood from the forest. So very practical solutions were deployed, and these are carbon projects. So for every beneficiary who gets a cook stove, there is a documentation of which that beneficiary is and where it is located. So you can see on this map that you can see exactly where all these beneficiaries are in Meghalaya. Then we finally came to homestays, setting up homestays. This is a homestays in Ladakh. We started by setting up rooms, identifying real homestays, identifying entrepreneurs, doing surveys, handpicking the right material. Like I can choose a homestay, but I can't get the same material of Meghalaya in a Ladakh homestay. It has to be culturally aligned with them as well. So doing that, there's a Ladakhi entrepreneur who come to Delhi. We asked the women in terms of surveys. We transferred the material. Someone fell. God bless him. The material was transported to these remote villages. It was trained. This is an 8-inch mattress. Even I sleep on a 6-inch mattress at my home. But we make sure the travelers get the best hospitality and comfort in these remotest areas. And the lady is being trained by one of the our employees and colleagues of ours. And the idea is to create eco homestays. So all you heard in the morning, we try to assimilate together and creating these homestays. And this is the kind of, people talk about carbon footprint. If you try and use the right technology, and this is very simple, it's locally available, commercially off the shelf, you can actually make it a very eco-friendly design. So there was a huge amount of difference in the footprint. And this is, who would like to stay here? I mean, this is in Phyang village. And if you open the window, you see the monastery, Phyang Monastery in Ladakh, in Leh. And the training is an important part of the whole setup. So this was done in the Vibrant Village Trishul, a government program. Along with the homestay, we also made sure that the stories of the war, the 1962 war which was fought, we got a war historian, we got the pictures, and we put the photo frames, a photo gallery in all the 5 homestays of the Trishul village. And now travelers are actually coming here, not only see the Rezangla Memorial, to stay in these homestays and witness these particular photo galleries. And they are all available online. You can book them through Airbnb, Booking.com, or Make My Trip. And these are homestay owners with the name of the homestay which belongs to those areas. And of course, as we go forward, we're also working on carbon financing, trying to create and link carbon financing with sustainable tourism. So with the clean cook stove deployment we do, the credits we earn, we try and give back through the systems through homestays development. So it's a interlinking model. No one is doing right now, but we feel that it could be a great model for communities. So we tell them, keep on using the cook stoves. The more you use, the more you earn, the more you earn, the more good mattress you will get. You say, oh, that's a nice thing. So keep eating food. So that's an interesting way, right? And then, of course, you may have a destination, you may have infrastructure, you may have a homestay, but you need to have experiences for people to go there. So experiences like astronomy, you'll hear more about it. We have a team of astro stays here. Dark sky experiences, experiences with the local potters. And of course, something we really went ahead and did was, last year was Pashmina experiences, where we trained 20 women from almost 15, 16 villages of Ladakh. They came over in winters. We were giving them looms. This is the kind of shawls they designed. They were given looms to take back home because otherwise you train them, they will forget. So they took back the loom in their home. They designed the shawls. The shawls came back to our booking place in Leh market and we sold them. And these are the travelers buying those shawls. So from training them to making sure they're using it, making sure they're making it, making sure we're selling them, making sure they're getting the money back. So it's a holistic model we are trying to create for experience. And of course, we feel all these homestays may be remote, but you need to still get them online. And it all depends upon how you want to make sure how many travelers visit that area. That is all depend upon how much you want to put them online. So we have kind of created ways and models where we make sure that every homestay gets a limited amount of booking in a month, not trying to force it, but trying to make sure they maintain the ecological balance of that area as well. And of course, these are so remote villages, you need to have data about it. It's not available in Wikipedia, maybe 2 or 3 lines. So we did an app. So we have just recently launched a mountain homestays app just to make sure that these villages, these new destinations are also available. So you look at it, sending us solar power to setting up an app where you populate all these things with this thing. And this is the future. We are trying to make sure that sitting here, looking at the screen, I can get data of all my homestays in terms of what is the electricity generation, what is the amount of water that is being boiled, what is the amount of solar energy is being produced and consumed, and any other water consumption. So you can add and mix and match. I'm just saying it as I see, but a list of our homestays, and this will be deployed this year. So you can remotely monitor the resources being consumed in the homestay, and the same can happen for the village as well. So it's trying to put smart technology for destination monitoring. Well, it's something which is easily possible with India, software, rural destinations, and the willpower to do it. So the idea is to create sustainable destination, and I was told to leave with a kind of a blueprint. This will probably trigger the panel discussion now in terms of what exactly and how and what should come first when you start creating a future destination. So thank you. My name is Paras Lumma, and you'll probably hear from me again.